Hello, and welcome to the presentation entitled Multi-Tiered and Online, Digital Transformation at Harvard Kennedy School. My name is Kristin Sullivan. I am the Senior Director of Educational Technology for Harvard Kennedy School and also the Director of our flagship online program known as the Public Leadership Credential, or PLC. I'd like to thank you for viewing this session, and I look forward to sharing our project with you. For those of you who are less familiar with Harvard Kennedy School, I wanted to give you a little bit of background information. The Kennedy School is one of 12 schools at Harvard University. We're focused on government. Our school is comprised of 4 master's degree programs, 35 executive ed programs annually. We have 11 centers and more than 80 initiatives. The one thing that the Kennedy School did not have until a few years ago, however, was a strategic footprint in the online space. That all changed with the Public Leadership Credential. I'm looking forward to telling you about our project and how it progressed from idea to reality, but I'd first like to begin by describing what the Public Leadership Credential is all about. At the very top of the funnel, we offer 6 courses in 3 curricular areas: evidence, leadership, and policy. Each course is 6 weeks in length with a workload of about 10 to 12 hours per week. A learner is welcome to take a course in any order. They just need to take the part 1 of each course before they take the part 2. These courses are competitively priced under $1,000 per course, with an eye toward reaching as many learners as possible in the world. You're welcome to take just a single course to try it out. You're also welcome to take a pair of courses if you'd like to go deep within a certain curricular area. However, if you would like to take all 6 courses, we would encourage you to take our 2-week capstone experience in which you show us that you've learned sufficiently across all 6 courses. And should you pass the capstone, you will earn the Public Leadership Credential. We envision this to be an artifact that shows evidence of your achievement throughout the 6 courses, something in between a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. We're hoping that when you receive the Public Leadership Credential, you might be able to go in and speak with your supervisor about a promotion or possibly apply to a new job to use the learning that you've gained through the Public Leadership Credential. You might also decide it might be a great time for you to go back for an advanced degree. And if you're interested in applying to a degree at the Kennedy School, there is a feeder from the Public Leadership Credential into one of our master degrees called the Mid-Career Masters in Public Administration, or the MCMPA. If you've obtained your PLC credential and you'd like to apply to the MCMPA, you're welcome to do so. The game changer here is if you're accepted into the MCMPA and you decide to attend, that those courses that you took through PLC now count as the first 3 of the 8 courses toward the master's degree. There are 3 ways to learn through the Public Leadership Credential. Number 1, as I mentioned, is take a course. We think that's great and will reach a lot of learners in the world. We really are intent on getting the Kennedy School message out into the world to as many people as possible. If people only took individual courses, we would be happy with this project. Additionally, we encourage people to take all 6 courses plus the capstone, as I mentioned. The second value proposition of the PLC is that we're introducing this authentic artifact that shows evidence of learning deeply at this level before the master's degree. And again, as I mentioned, should taking individual courses and leading to the credential sufficiently interest you in an advanced degree, we hope you consider the Mid-Career Masters in Public Administration degree. So this is one of the things that we're very excited about with the Public Leadership Credential online program, is that it offers 3 levels of learning, 3 ways to get our message out into the world. As I mentioned, the courses are in 3 curricular areas: leadership and ethics, evidence for decisions, policy design and delivery. I should mention that these courses were not simply residential courses that we moved online. These were courses that we designed specifically with learning designers for the online space. Each of the curricular areas has a faculty lead that's driving the creation of the courses. That said, it is not a single faculty member's vision alone for these courses. For example, evidence for decisions is not Teddy Sforonos' course alone. For each of the faculty leads, they've brought in many faculty contributors from across the school. So when a PLC learner is interacting with a PLC course, they're receiving learning not just from the faculty lead, but from a broader spectrum of the Kennedy School faculty community. As far as who are we trying to reach with these courses, we're trying to reach similar learners to those who we're trying to reach in the Mid-Career Masters in Public Administration program. Those who are in mid-career with at least 5 to 7 years of professional experience. Implication, they should have an undergraduate bachelor's degree. They need to be proficient in both verbal and written English. Because it's an online program, we need them to be comfortable with online. And we imagine folks in mid-career are juggling a lot of personal and professional responsibilities. So far, the PLC has had more than 1,300 unique learners so far. About 48.5% of them are female. We're representing 97 countries so far. Most of our learners have about at least 5 years of work experience. Interestingly, the age range of our learners goes anywhere from age 22 all the way up to 77. So we have a very broad spectrum of professional experiences that the fellow learners are bringing into the course experience. I wanted to take a minute to explain the technology that we're using to deliver the public leadership credential. We use Pardot as part of our marketing strategy. We use Salesforce as our CRM. The courses are on the Canvas learning management system. The live online parts we're using Zoom. We tried to stick with native functionality in Canvas, but we did add a couple extra technologies. We use City Labs to design our Canvas sites so they're optimal for the online learning experience. We also use Learnosity to build inline questions. And should a learner persevere through all 6 courses and the capstone to obtain the credential, they'll receive a digital certificate via a vendor platform called Paradigm. On the technology note, it was an intentional decision that we went with Canvas and Zoom, which is the same technologies that we use for degree program and executive ed program. In this way, we were able to have a lean EdTech support team deliver all 3 legs of the teaching and learning stool at the university. Now I wanted to pivot to explain, now that I've described what the PLC is, I want to share with you the time it took to design, develop, and now deliver the PLC experience. So with that, I wanted to break down through a little bit of a timeline. I'll never forget the day back in October 2016 when my faculty partner, Dan Levy, and I received an email from the dean, Doug Elmendorf. Doug would like to make a big push to work on our online learning strategy. The hope is that you will think big and bold, not incrementally, and that you'll have options for us to discuss by January. I should mention that's January 2017, 3 months from the time that we received this email. We were really excited. Dan and I had worked together before, and we both thought deeply about digital learning. We were excited to think big and bold and online and get back to the dean in 3 months. Well, enter 2017. What a busy year it became. The first thing we did was we did a lot of research. What's happening in online right now? What's happening with our peer institutions? What's happening in residential space? Then we interviewed a bunch of faculty at the Kennedy School. What are your pain points? What can you not do in the classroom? What do you think is a gap in the offerings that we provide to the world? We did a lot of individual and group consultations with faculty. We grabbed a couple colleagues from our Teaching and Learning Center and formed a skunkworks team where we had a lot of lockdown meetings with a lot of whiteboarding to come up with ideas. We came up with a lot of ideas, especially since we felt that we were a little bit late in the online space. We wanted to come up with something really creative that would be really distinctive from others in terms of online. We came up with 3 really good ideas. We thought they were really good ideas, and we brought them to the dean in January 2017 as promised. He gave us some feedback, which brought us back to the drawing board to iterate and hone and really tighten our thoughts. So we returned to see him again with one best and final idea. That resulted in a thumbs up from the dean, which doesn't mean we're doing it. It just means thumbs up from the dean that we're on to something. With that, we brought our ideas back to the faculty, both one-on-one, in small groups. People were interested. They asked good questions. We tweaked it more. We brought it to a full faculty meeting. We met with no violent opposition from the faculty community, which we took as a green light. And with that, we pivoted into a formal, if quiet, planning phase. Enter 2018. At this point, our small skunkworks operation expanded a bit to become a matrix team. We decided to go with the matrix team because we needed to move quickly, and it was easier for us at the Kennedy School to reallocate existing resources rather than recruit, hire, and build a pop-up team. We did some focus groups with current students and alumni. We also formed a steering committee comprised of senior leaders on both the academic and administrative sides of the school. We selected those faculty leads that I mentioned earlier to begin working on the courses and the course design and the structure of the program. Around this time, we also needed to make some selections about the technologies that we would use to deliver the courses. And of course, all within 2018, we built the first few courses. This was a very speedy endeavor if you've ever gone down this road, to build 3 courses plus all of this in a very short, under a year. It's a lot of work, but we were happy to be able to launch our pilot by fall of 2018. So from October 2016, think big and bold, to a very busy 2017 and a very busy 2018, we learned a lot. We put the team together, we came up with the structure, we built the first courses, and we actually launched them. Which brings us to 2019. After our pilot, we went back and we said, what did we learn from the pilot? We iterated on those first 3 A courses. We started development of the B courses, and then we went into a public announcement about the program, and we started to run the courses for reals. So in June 2019, we ran those 3 A courses again, but of course at much higher enrollments. We went back and iterated over the summer. September, we did it again. We offered the 3 A courses again. Tighter now, we've added more people to the team as we were increasing our enrollment. And then in November 2019, we launched the B courses as well for the first time. And here we are in 2020. We now are fully operational. We have a strong delivery team that is providing these courses to the world at scale. We are just about to offer the first capstone experience. And hopefully by December 2020, which is the application deadline for the degree programs at the Kennedy School, we will have several applicants to the MC-MPA program coming from the public leadership credential funnel. Whew, that's a lot of work. So I thought it might be constructive to share with you some takeaways of looking back over those last few years of things that we did well, things that we could have done better, and sort of tips that might be helpful for you. So let's take a peek. The first thing I want to share is a little bit of stating the obvious. Disruptive innovation is, well, disruptive. Be ready for this. When you're in a traditional organization like a college or university, especially a place like Harvard, to be able to create a novel online set of learning experiences quickly is a lot of work, and it is not a typical type of work. So like I said, disruptive innovation is disruptive. Be ready for it. Another takeaway that we experienced, at least is true for the Kennedy School, but it might be true for your school as well. Faculty buy-in is essential. We felt strongly that if our faculty didn't support PLC, PLC was not going to happen. And for that reason, that is why we met with so many faculty on such a listening tour in the early days and the medium days and the pilot days and the launch days. Our faculty have been with us every step of the way, and I think that was a secret to the success of getting this program off the ground. As I mentioned earlier, we went with a matrix team, and a matrix team has a lot of affordances. It really allows you to move fast without a big organizational overhead or a big budget overhead. Of course, with a matrix team, there are always trade-offs. when you're pulling people off of other projects to work on this project, they can't do the other projects. But everybody bound together as this was an essential strategic project for the school, and it was a good fit for us. Speaking of budgets, and you probably know this already, but it's worth repeating, build room in your budget for unknowns, and there will be many unknowns. It's really nice when you have the opportunity to work on something and you don't have to think about how much it costs, but that just is not realistic in this world. You're likely going to have to put together a budget before you're ready, and you're going to have to be asked questions about how much will this cost before you know for sure. So please build room in your budget for the unknowns, because there will be unknowns. Speaking of being budget conscious, when possible, leverage existing technologies. I mentioned that I lead EdTech as well as doing this PLC thing. And so of course I would be saying this, but if we're already using Canvas and Zoom for degree, and we're already using Canvas and Zoom for executive ed, unless it is in conflict with the pedagogy, which it wasn't, use Canvas and Zoom for PLC as well. This is great because you can build a single team to support the delivery of courses in degree, executive ed, and PLC. You can help the community learn and grow on these tools. And if it's in your interest to reuse parts of materials in different settings, it's more straightforward when you're using the same set of technologies. On that note, another takeaway is design for this project, obviously, but with an eye for reuse with other projects. So I mentioned earlier that each of our courses is 6 weeks in length, and we have 2 courses in each curricular area. Those 2 combined are equal to 1 degree program course. So you could imagine a future state where we could take 2 PLC half courses and make that 1 fully online course for degree program. Conversely, we might have a very short executive ed experience that wants just 1 video that we used with a PLC course, or 1 set of instructional experiences. We can easily pull those into an executive ed program. So it's important to think about the project you're designing, but it's not a bad thing to have in the back of your mind reuse or repurposing. Another big takeaway that I would like to share is be intentional about what you're going to do in-house and what you're going to outsource. What is your comparative advantage? What are you better at than anybody else? For us at the Kennedy School, we decided that that was our learning design. We have a very strong teaching and learning center, and it was really important that our learning designers work with our faculty on our courses. So that is something that we really kept in-house. On the other hand, something like multimedia production or marketing, those were areas that we did not have a comparative advantage over, and it made more sense in the spirit of moving quickly to outsource those. And last but certainly not least, hold on tight, wild ride ahead. It is a wild ride to do such a disruptive innovation at such a traditional school on such a short time frame. It's very exciting, and you have to be up for it. So that is a real takeaway. And the final takeaway I want to share, which is true for anything, but was especially true for PLC, and I just want to take a moment to talk about it, is that something like this truly takes a village. We could not have pulled off what we did in PLC if it weren't for so many people that worked with us. I'm talking about PLC today, but certainly I did not do PLC alone. We had so many friends and family, starting obviously with the dean who asked for us to think big and bold in the first place. Also that steering committee who still work with us today, those senior administrators from the academic and administrative sides of the school. Could not appreciate more the faculty leads who took a leap of faith with us, as well as all those faculty guests that they brought into our courses. Also, on the delivery of the courses, which is where we are now, we are assisted by so many teaching assistants that we could not deliver these courses if it weren't for the teaching assistants. I mentioned earlier the matrix team comprised of the learning designers from our teaching and learning center and the PLC delivery team. We also got so much help from so many corners of the school. The PLC was really an opportunity for so many departments to come together on this decanal priority. whether it was executive ed that helped out with Salesforce and with marketing, degree programs, obviously as the funnel brings us to their one of their degree programs, finance on the budget, IT with specific IT items, as you can imagine in an online experience, and so many other HKS departments. And last but not least, because we are part of a university, we're also incredibly appreciative to Central IT, as well as our Central Teaching and Learning Organization. Well, thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more with me about Harvard Kennedy School's Public Leadership Credential. If our program sounds interesting to you and you'd like to learn more, please visit our website, onlinelearning.hks.harvard.edu. On that note, if you would like to take one of our courses, please do. Go to onlinelearning.hks.harvard.edu, press on register now. The A courses are offered every September and January, and the B courses are offered every November and March. And with that, I'd like to say thank you and best of luck.